Hello, welcome to Unit 2, Lesson 3, multiplying rational numbers with the area model. Just to get us warmed up here, I wanted us to take a look at what would happen if we had a positive integer multiplied by a fraction. So here we have positive 5 multiplied by a positive 1/2. Now, how you have been shown this in the past might look something like, well, this means basically we have 1/2 5 times. So you might look at that in the past as 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2. You add that all up, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 halves. So that's one way to do it. But there's also one way we can visualize what's actually going on here is with these area models. So I'm going to start by, so if we have 5 times 1/2, I'm going to take that first term, 5, pop it on top. And that second term, 1/2, pop it off to the side there. So to have 5 whole things, if I were to take this rectangle and break it up into 5 chunks, there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, and there's 5. Let's bear with me and pretend these are all equal chunks. So if we have 5 whole things, that means we're actually going to use all 5 of these. So there's 1 whole thing, there's 2 whole things, there's 3 whole things, there's 4 whole things, there's 5 whole things. Okay, I'm just going to darken these partitions really quick. All right, we have 5 whole chunks. Off to the side here, it's telling us, well, I want to take that same rectangle and I want to split it in half. But I only want to use one of those halves, right? We have 1/2. So I'm going to take one of that half and I'm going to fill it in. So what we actually have here is 10 halves, right? Here's 1/2, there's 1/2, there's 1/2, there's 1/2, there's 1/2, there's 1/2, right? So on, so on, so on, so on. Bear with me. So we actually have 10 halves. But the part where our 2 colors overlap, where we have the blue and the green, that is our solution. So we actually have here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 halves. So our solution is 5 halves. And we can simplify that, turn that into a mixed number. I love a fraction. I don't mind something like this, 5 halves. But if you wanted a mixed number, say, well, 1/2 plus 1/2 equals 1. So right there is actually 1. We have 1 whole thing right there. And so then we could take these two, and we have 1 whole thing right there, and then we have a half right there. So this could also equal 2 1/2. I want to check out another example really quick. What if we have an integer that is a negative as our first thing? So let me make myself a rectangle here. We're going to do this same process. So here we have -3 multiplied by positive 2/3. So what we're going to do here is pop that -3 up on top and then put our positive 2/3 off to the side. Oh, not 2/5, 2/3, please. Okay. So this is saying I have 3 whole chunks that are negative. So I'm going to go ahead and split this up. There's 1 negative, 2 negative, 3 negative. I'm going to fill them in. There are 3 negative things. We can imagine that each of these bars is worth negative 1. Okay. Now off to the side, this is telling us it wants us to split this into thirds. Right, 2/3. So let's go ahead. We went ahead and split that into thirds. And we're going to use 2 of them. So I'm going to fill in 1/3. Here's 1/3. And then I'm going to fill in 2/3. So what we actually did here was we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 thirds in all, but we're using just the part where they overlap. So where they overlap is all of that. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 thirds. But let's remember that those blues are actually, they represent 3 negatives. So this is actually negative 6/3. And of course that can be reduced down. We can say, well, here is 3/3, so that's 1. Here is 3/3, so that's 2. So this can actually be simplified to negative 2. I'm happy with either of those. So negative 3 times 2/3 equals negative 6/3 or negative 2.